now.
The button is pushed.
Good.
It is recording.
Are we done?
No more
Stop
buttons.
screwing up, Wade.
I'm sorry.
Get your hand off the
Hands
All
off
right,
the
ladies
button.
and gentlemen, this is the third attempt at the first episode of the Cult of... wait, not even that. This is the Nerd Accords now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nerd Accords. My name is Dave.
You're joining a cult.
You are part of a cult now. You are the Cult of Nerd. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this first episode. My name is Dave. Let's get some introductions out of the way. I guess I'll start with me. As you know, so to say it for the third time now, my name is Dave. I am a nerd. I'm here because the age of 3, I discovered Spider-Man and cartoons, and that is what put me on the path to my nerddom. When I was a teenager, around 1993, I think it was.
A young lad.
A young lad, indeed. 92, bought my first comic book, Amazing Spider-Man number 30, which was the first appearance of Carnage, and that got me hooked on the whole comic thing.
What volume was that?
Volume 1. Yeah, that's Volume 1.
It went all the way up past 400. Volume 1 did.
Yeah.
Upwards of 5, I
It was
think.
March 1992 to be exact.
Whoa.
That was the month. Yeah. So my nerd cred goes back a long way. Got the gaming bug in, 89? Got the first Nintendo, and I've been gaming, cartoons, comics ever since. And that is why I nerd out.
You have street cred with the nerds.
You know, I do have nerd cred.
Get hype?
Yeah, like I always tell people. I tell people at work. I say the nerd life. I didn't choose the nerd life. Nerd life chose me.
Yeah.
So to my right, we have Wayne. Wayne, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Wayne. Obviously, late 80s, early 90s Spider-Man got me into it. Same as my brother Dave here. Avid card gamer. Love Magic and Legendary Pokemon. Love movies. Completely and totally. GoldenEye is probably my favorite console game.
I sucked at GoldenEye.
GoldenEye was great.
It's
like the standard. That's about it.
Wow. Just man a few words there.
You man a few words. Oh, well, actually, in the 90s, Flair and Ultra and all that put out comic book cards. And I had an extensive collection, and they all had biographical information on the back of all of them. And I spent a long time reading all those cards. So, like 90s and before, it all became just dictionary-like knowledge in comics.
Fun fact, they're worth nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah, nothing at all. Even the fancy holographic ones that you're always twisting and turning to see all the different angles.
Every bum trying to sell.
Please stop bringing them into the
Oh,
I like to look at them.
but no, seriously, I paid $20 for all these. What can you give me?
Oh, that's a steal. Actually, you got robbed.
They're not worth the paper they're printed on.
No.
All right, next to Wayne, we have Chris.
I own Castle Games. Where's Castle Games? We're on Main Street here in Springfield, Oregon.
Is that where we are?
660 Main Street,
Yeah,
Sweet.
we're recording in our shop as we speak.
Kicked all the other nerds out.
Yeah.
For the longest Magic game of all time.
It felt like forever. So my start to all this, I vaguely remember being 4 and always talking about Robotech, but I can't. It's like if you ask me now, what was the Robotech episode? I couldn't tell you. I can't even remember what I ate yesterday. So
It doesn't matter. It's the impression that was left.
yes, but
Oh, God damn it. I pushed a button again.
You better not.
No, I'm kidding.
Yes, Robotech, Star Wars. I remember my dad always had HBO, and Star Wars would play it all the time. And excuse me. That kind of got me my whole start, and from there it was a Super Nintendo when I was
Oh yeah.
6, 7. I had a ColecoVision before that. I don't know if any of you guys know what that is.
Atari.
Oh yeah.
Atari. It played every it played a different Atari.
600, I think it was.
Yeah, it played everything. It had the worst controller.
Yeah, and it looked like a remote control. It had like 0
but the
through
joystick,
9.
you couldn't move that thing.
Right.
ColecoVision. My first comic book, I think, was a Spawn comic book. My mom didn't
Todd
know any better.
McFarlane.
Yeah, so McFarlane. I read.
My mom didn't know any
She didn't know any better. She was like, if it gets you to read
Oh
books,
man, yeah.
then you can have it. And I'm like, really? Because
That's a great point right there. Is that comics and anything nerd related, whether or not it's, I don't care if it's nerd related or not, you're teaching kids how to read.
That's why the whole
lot of
Harry
people-
Potter thing. Like, I never got into Harry Potter, but it gave an entire generation something to read and gave that love of reading to an
We had a
entire
legal
race.
binding contract not to mention Harry Potter.
I mean, true.
We're probably gonna get sued by J.K. Rowling now.
I mean,
You said her name. How dare you?
JK, I love you, even though I never read your books and I think your movies suck. But I love you anyway. All right.
I read them. Fun fact: I read them when I had my wisdom teeth pulled out. It was really bad. My bottom teeth are impacted, so in 2 weeks I
How
read
many drugs were you on?
enough. I was still able to read all 7 books. They were very enjoyable. I digress. But yes, that is why I am here and who I am today and what I do, and I play way too many things and I spend way too much money. So.
And last but not least of this motley crew of idiots, we have Kim.
My name's Kim. I'm the other owner of Castle of Games in beautiful downtown Springfield, Oregon.
Adjusting.
That was the
Oh, yeah.
mic in case anybody heard that.
Where was I? Lost my train of thought.
You can.
Yes,
Kim.
I said that part.
You're in the store.
Yes,
You
that I own. Co-own with Chris here. Where did I begin? I saw the Star Wars movies when they first came out. My mother took me to see them. I collected all of the little the glasses that Burger King put out, and I think McDonald's did too. That really, really thin, brittle glass. Horrible. But those glasses were amazing. I have the action figures, all the stuff. Played with a lot of Lego. Usual growing upness.
Wax nostalgia about Lego.
Yeah, I mean that's really where it's at. I mean, my first comic books, my grandfather bought me a bunch. I think at a flea market or something, and they were like the original like gold key Disney books and stuff.
Oh, those
they
are
were
nice.
super fun. So I didn't even know they made superhero comic books until I was like 14 years old. I just thought it was all like Donald Duck.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Those are great comics.
I had a bunch.
Amazing.
Yeah, the Harvey comics where it was like Richie Rich and
Same stuff. I was responsible for the Magic game that took forever. They're gone now. I'm still here though, so you're just gonna have to put up with it.
We're kind of here.
So that is that's a good point. That where we are, we have had the good fortune of having Castle of Games allow us to record here and allow us to sponsor, be the sponsor of the show, and thankfully be a part of it. I want to thank you guys, both of you, for joining us. That's who we are. We are the Nerd Accords and the Chord. We said Accord.
Singular.
Yeah, it's been a long day. But here we go. Let's talk about some news. There's some good stuff coming up in the world of comics and gaming. And Chris, Kim, tell us what's going on.
I'm sure everyone's heard about DC Rebirth now. They're resetting the DC universe as far as I can tell.
So it's like the fifth time in
Right.
2
Don't worry,
years.
Marvel fans. Marvel will do it 6 months
Soon
after.
enough.
Yeah. They've already done it.
Soon
They've already
enough.
got Secret Wars. It's come and gone. But DC Rebirth, after Convergence,
After
New 52.
they're like, okay, let's reset the timeline. Let's say 52 kind of happened, but not really happened.
No.
And we're going to continue on as if 52 did, because we're starting the stories after it. before 52. So pre-52, where the stories kind of ended.
See, because that's good, because everything that happened after Flashpoint, I couldn't deal with. It was all crap. Sorry. I feel very passionate about how wrong everything after Flashpoint was.
Flashpoint was one of the best written stories to come out of DC in a long time, though.
And then everything
But
after
then
that was
everything
crap.
just went downhill.
Okay, sorry.
Well, no.
I mean,
and then you know, go to your fine local comic book shops to get some of these titles. It's
specifically Castle of Games.
if you're in town, we'd appreciate it. But yes, so get those titles. Jim Lee is, I know, heading like him and I can't remember what I read, but he's spearheading this whole revival reboot. I got into an argument with the customer about whether it's a reboot. I actually went to his I had to look up the term reboot, and I put it rubbed it right in his face. But yeah, it's a reboot. I'm gonna say it's a reboot.
Of the
Yeah.
ABC, yeah.
The worst thing to come out of this though is, have you guys seen the logo?
I have not seen that.
Are you talking about with all the JLA heroes jumping into
No, the DC logo itself is getting redone.
Oh,
again.
no,
it is.
Other than the peeled.
It's right, yeah, the peeled one.
Toilet seat cover?
So, yeah,
Yeah.
DC Comics now with more toilet seat covers.
Yes.
And if you can believe it, more capes.
Images. You guys gotta see it. It's like
So
DC logo.
with DC's all their resets, I mean, they've convoluted so much.
It actually hasn't
seems
been previews because of how long ago they.
It's not in the previews?
No, because it came out after this was, because we know that.
Are we talking the blue circle with the DC?
Yeah, this Letterman this horrendous thing.
Oh, that's a throwback to like the 80s.
Yeah,
Logo.
it's like a Letterman logo. It's really
Oh,
weird.
it looks like Converse shoes logo.
Yes, it's like
Totally
I don't
Converse.
know. I don't like it. But
I'm not a fan. I'm not gonna lie.
Y'all look that up, that new DC logo. See what you think. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know, and you can
Or
do
don't.
that
Or
through,
don't.
or don't, but you could. You can do that through our email address, which is thenerdacord@gmail.com. Shameless plug during the news. Sorry.
no.
Anything else coming up?
Anything else new?
There's that poster there.
Scooby Apocalypse.
I don't know, man. May 2016. This is.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this.
It's another Jim Lee.
Another
Jim Lee designed some of the
Well, it's like-
some of the
it's like how
creatures
they-
there, so we know they're going to be horrifying.
I mean, come on. It's pushing more to that concept of like rebirth, reboot. It's our generation grew up with Scooby.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
look, he's a hipster instead of a hippie.
So, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about,
That fits.
there's a poster over here in the wall of the shop that has a high-tech, futuristic Scooby-Doo. It looks like it's set in a post-apocalyptic, or maybe apocalypse is happening.
It's the verge of the apocalypse.
Whatever. I think it's crap. I'm not gonna.
Even read it.
I know.
No.
I saw the poster, and let me tell you what I think of that poster.
No, seriously, that poster I do not like.
Okay, you know what? All right, so I think for next week, we should all read about what's going to happen. Hey, it's got Jim Lee's name all over it, so it's got to be good.
I'm sure.
So jot it down in your little notey notes there, and put it on the Google Doc, and we're all going to take a look, and then we can comment about it intelligently. And when we get a copy, you know what? We'll pick it up. We all read it.
I think this is a good plan,
And then that way,
because then I can tell you
Yeah.
exactly how much I hate this poster.
oh, wow. All right. Do we have other news, Kim?
Magic Eternal Masters is coming out. A good entry point for people to get legacy cards, things that are good
Nice.
for EDH, probably cards that are good for Modern as well, since a lot of those are expensive. Now you'll be able to buy them in pack again, get them brand new. So that's pretty cool.
Other gaming news, just really quick before we move on to our topics. Since I am a huge miniature gaming nerd, another big deal. Warmachine and Hordes, a miniature tabletop game made by Privateer Press out of Seattle, Washington, is making a new edition of their game. So if you've ever wanted to get into miniature gaming, if you have any interest in monstrous creatures and giant automatons called warjacks beating the crap out of each other, you have spellcasters slinging spells, flintlock style guns, mages. Now's a good time to come in, talk to us about it, or just check out privateerpress.com. Shameless plug there for the company. I will be going to one of their conventions here real soon. I'll have more news and information about that, some of the new product, but check it out if you are interested in miniature gaming stuff.
Fantastic.
All right.
You can find all this stuff at your local comic and game store. Obviously, if you're in the area, stop by Castle of Games. We're going to plug them throughout the entirety of this podcast because
they want to make sure they always have a home.
They're nice enough to do this for us. So
super nice of those guys.
We're hoping they pay us soon. Anyway.
Wow. We better get paid.
What?
Like rents.
All right. So first off,
only Dave thinks that.
Yeah. Wayne's like, I still have to buy my comics from there.
Yeah,
Do not ruin that.
I really, I got a backup too. I pushed a button.
So, is this going to be a continuing thing from you?
I think
about the button. We tried recording a couple of times, and both times.
Dude, the new show sucks, though. I don't care about the show. You should. That's why we have that.
Chris thinks the new Powerpuff Girls sucks.
Number one.
I have not watched it.
I haven't either. I don't currently have cable right now, but
you can come over and watch
nostalgia.
Powerpuff Girls with me.
The nostalgia of the original show, I thought it was brilliant, and so I have a hard time with the new one as it is.
New voice actors for the characters, and the stories just aren't as fun. I don't know.
I'm not going to watch the show. I'm going to read the comic book.
Wait, because
So
the comic book is based on the show.
So Powerpuff Girls comic coming out.
There's nothing new. It's Comic Book Girl. Yeah.
Comic book girl. Comic book girls are hot. That's the news.
And we didn't even open the 6-pack ever already. All right, so
I think we need to start.
I think I agree with you on that one. But let's talk about Civil War.
Okay.
The movie
That just came out.
as opposed to the fight between the
North and the South. Yeah, let's not go into that. But yes,
They're close up, Dave.
Are they?
yes.
So
Why are you flipping through that when we're trying to do a show?
Do research.
You do research on your downtime, not during the show.
Oh.
Kim's sitting down. That's downtime.
Don't defend him.
okay, so we've all seen Civil War. Chances are all of you have as well, at least once.
If you haven't, shame on you.
And to-do list has now been updated with
And
see
now-
Civil War.
Also, spoilers. If you haven't seen it yet, spoiler alert, you'll need to
Skip ahead or quit if you're listening.
or stop and
Stop
go
at
watch it.
18:36.
Go watch the movie, come back, restart the whole show.
Exactly. We want to talk about some things that we think that Civil War did right. We want to talk about things that Civil War did wrong. And two of those things, for me, are the same thing.
Wait, right and wrong?
Right and wrong.
Wow, okay.
Two of those are the exact same thing,
Those are
and
the
that
best
is Spider-Man.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. Now, in my opinion, this was the best Spider-Man movie we've had so far.
He's the best Spider-Man in movies.
Yeah, I
Oh.
feel like that they did the character.
just
Go ahead.
really quick, can we backtrack? Let's say one good thing about the movie, and then say one bad thing. That way, then we have like a bunch of bullet points,
Sure.
maybe.
Okay,
Do
so
you guys like that?
Yeah, no,
my one good thing.
Okay, all right.
It's the same.
Fine. Okay, sure.
I mean, I have several good things.
Before we go into this discussion about his, and then we kind of go around the table.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
One of my good things, Spider-Man. I think they did the character well. I think that Tom Holland did an amazing job playing the character. The explanation for why he has the eyepieces.
The goggles.
was spot on. His fight scenes, talking through that whole thing, exactly like you would wisecracking exactly like you would expect Spider-Man.
You have the right to remain silent. Yeah, that was good.
So that was one of my positives. Wayne.
Are we only doing positives right now?
Only positives right now.
Yeah, because I think we have more
negatives.
Yeah, we're going to discuss at length the negatives.
Yeah.
And then everyone listening can be like, no, you're
positive.
totally wrong.
Everybody leveled up severely since the last movie because their ass kicking ability had gone up substantially. Everybody spec'd their stat points correctly.
It was beautiful to be able to see how strong Captain America really was when he's pulling on that helicopter.
Yeah.
Like, you never actually got to see him use his strength.
Well, and if you watch the deleted scenes that you can find on YouTube, you'll find that he literally... That whole scene was basically it was one take. There was no helicopter, of course. It was a crane. Right. But seeing that scene being filmed in one take from a different view, knowing that take that we saw was unedited, was actually rather much more impressive than...
Wait, what? What was
that? The take where he's holding the helicopter in place that Bucky's trying to take off with. That scene, literally, he comes out of the rooftop doorway and he runs for it and grabs onto the crane that's there, and that whole skid along the roof with the crane dragging him is all one scene. The crane is replaced with the helicopter.
Oh, okay.
But it was one take, and I think that obviously it probably wasn't the first take, but I think that was still very impressive on the part of Chris. Which Chris is that?
Evans?
Chris Evans, thank you. With Chris Evans and Hemsworth in there, it's just... Hemsworth isn't in the Civil War movie, but Avengers line.
Speaking of Chris's?
So my whole positive take on this, and I feel like the Captain America movies, at least with Civil War and Winter Soldier, it's like the Avenger movies we've kind of deserved, more so than the Avengers titles. And that's... because they're able to put so much the feels right into it. Like they do so well at kind of showing the Avengers at their worst and their best, because they're with Winter Soldier it can show how not everything is incorruptible, especially in terms of the superhero spectrum. You see S.H.I.E.L.D. go down. And so with this Civil War, you see that that human emotion, these aren't just superheroes fighting. Mm-hmm. And that's incredible how they're able to write that into the Captain America films, and nothing else is just, and nothing against Joss. The first movie was great. Age of Ultron was not.
This was a way better Avengers movie than Avengers 2.
Yeah.
Way better Avengers movie.
Yeah.
It should have been called Avengers 3, in my opinion.
Winter Soldier is still the best Avengers line movie, the MCU, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just...
I'm partial to Guardians, but the...
Guardians is... if you want a great laugh with a great movie, absolutely.
Yeah, but, it's like the Star Wars of our generation.
Yeah.
Again, Force Awakens is fine, but Guardians was if I was a kid and I got to see Guardians in the theaters for the first time, I would have been like, that's my Star Wars. Oh, mind blown.
Right.
Kim, what you like about Civil War?
Black Panther.
Black Panther was awesome.
Black Panther. Oh my God.
He's like
nailed it.
He's like the Shaft
Nailed it.
of the Avengers.
He is one bad mother.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just so good. Just so good.
Absolutely.
And the fact that he's going to have his own movie, the actor was really good for the part.
And
really well done.
Does his Sanctuary have an... I'm not familiar with Black Panther very much, but Wakanda is country, but that Sanctuary that they shown in the jungle,
that's just his house.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that's my home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a little bit of a play on the whole Tony Stark's mansion where they hide out and they're safe. That's Black Panther's safe place. Yeah.
And that's awesome because like you wouldn't expect that. You totally expect that out of like an American superhero. Oh, look at me, I'm rich and I have this Avengers Tower. And then like to see that over there, that's incredible. That's awesome.
He's the king.
Yeah, he is the king. And I think what a lot of people don't realize and what they will be realizing soon enough is that Black Panther is actually richer than all these comic book characters that we think of as the millionaires and billionaires.
Well, he's got the GDP of an entire nation behind him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to use his own personal wealth.
One of the rarest elements on the planet.
Yeah,
Right.
vibranium.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which is why when they pointed out, like, is that vibranium? And he's like, well, yeah, no shit. Like,
Duh.
we mine it out of the earth. It comes from my place.
Of course it's in my claws.
Yeah. The only thing I will say, just not to counterpoint too much, but because I had to look up more about Black Panther because I was so interested in the character after the movie. I wish they elaborated on the fact that he is a physicist, that he is an extremely intelligent person,
Very
like
intelligent,
up there with like Tony Stark kind of smart.
Reed Richards,
They'll probably get to that in his own.
In his movie,
In his own movie,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Because he was all about the revenge momentum going on.
Right. And just warrior, just the suit, everything.
And he was quiet and confident and like a dignified king that only said what needed to be said.
I agree.
And that was something that Kim said that he nailed it, and they nailed writing the character as well.
Right.
And
One thing I read that was really quick, I know. Is that actor, he immersed himself so much in that character that when they were developing the language and the dialect and the accent, they looked at all the countries that are real, because Wakanda's not real,
Right.
for listeners who don't know. Surrounding
There
it.
goes my vacation.
Oh, I know. I want to go to Wakanda.
He's going to
Sounds
Wakanda next
awesome,
summer, and
right?
that's not happening now.
Go tours of Black Panther Sanctuary. It's going to be awesome.
vibranium banana hammock.
Oh, my.
The image just not going away anytime soon.
Anyways, they looked at all the countries around it, made the Wakandan language. He learned the accent as if it was real. That's how dedicated. I'm sorry, the name of the actor escapes me. They will probably get that. It was incredible.
Yeah, no.
Boseman, right?
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Incredible.
Well played.
I'm super stoked over Black Panther.
Yeah, and from what I hear, they're pulling some other really big names.
Missed opportunity if James Earl Jones isn't in it. All right? Somehow he has to be in that.
Supposedly John Boyega, is that how you say his name?
Boyega.
Boyega. He's linked to it as well.
Maybe
as
a young Black Panther, because
Well-
John Boyega is in Star Wars: Force Awakens.
Right,
Plays
yeah.
Finn.
FN 2187.
Wow.
Yeah.
I couldn't have-
Yeah.
Okay, so
So that happened.
yeah.
All right, now we're on to the.
So I actually have a few problems with the movie, but
All right.
the one I have already brought up is Spider-Man. I feel like the character was shoehorned into the movie. I didn't feel like his introduction was natural. I didn't feel like it was something that an organic introduction, if you will.
No,
It felt like they had to, wedge him into that movie. They did a great job with the character, but he had no reason to be a part of this at all.
They absolutely did wedge him in, and dead hookers. So Sony.
So that just happened.
So Sony and Marvel, they were, went through this long rigmarole of whether or not Spider-Man was going to be usable, and the screenwriters had already written it to where Spider-Man was not going to be in the movie, and then it was 9 months from release. They're like, okay, you can use Spider-Man.
Right.
And so they're just like scrambling to find a way to fit him in and film the necessary scenes.
So yeah, if it feels like he
make
was
it.
slapped in,
He
because
really
literally
was.
was slapped
He
in.
was slapped in just for that airport
No,
scene.
and I agree. And I think that was a failure on the part of timing and planning. I really
Marvel
feel like
may have rushed him a little
I
bit.
really feel like they could have probably put him off into another movie.
I mean, but the thing is, and the reason why everyone groaned when we got Amazing Spider-Man, the movie with Garfield,
Andrew Garfield.
because
Imagine a cat.
yeah, because
Spot a cat.
because
Is it Monday?
God, you just totally just wrecked my train of thought.
Andrew Garfield, the worst Spider-Man.
We know his story. We don't need
Right.
Gwen Stacy. We don't need any of that.
None.
I mean, granted, a lot of newer people to the Marvel verse don't know about Gwen Stacy.
Right.
They don't. But so just to kind of throw him in, it's like we know his shtick. We don't need to know this. We know his story.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm glad they didn't talk about it in this movie. They're just
I mean,
like, why are you doing this? Well, because my Uncle Ben died, and now
yeah. I mean, it was,
Chris
they didn't even
Howard
say that.
responsibility.
He just said, he like paraphrased it, and he said, but I appreciate that Tony's like, I know a guy, and then there he goes.
Yeah.
Okay, for all 5 of the listeners out there who don't know what's going on with Spider-Man,
We could have more than that.
I'm thinking about just the 5 who don't know jack shit about Spider-Man.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
To be fair, I expect maybe 3 people to.
And now those 5 have stopped listening.
Go ahead and skip all of the prior Spider-Man movies. Here's what happened. Nerdy kid in high school gets bit by a radioactive spider, develops superpowers, becomes a Mexican wrestler.
Luchador.
Luchador.
Whatever is what they prefer to
Luchador.
call.
That's how he gets his mask. Fights crime. There you go. That's his origin story. Get over
Done.
it.
Uncle shot.
Because
for reasons.
yeah, well,
Whatever.
reasons. Yeah.
Because he's a lazy Mexican
Moving
wrestler.
So the other part of why I had a problem with Spider-Man in this movie is the end credit scene. If you guys haven't seen this, again, stop now, go see the movie. The final end credit scene with Peter and Hot Aunt May.
What is up with that?
Hot Aunt May? We'll
Yeah.
talk about that in a minute.
I'm sure someone
We'll
has.
talk about
It was
that
gonna be
I was
my
gonna-
negative.
yeah.
Yeah, like hot anime. Oh, yeah.
later.
Now I gotta think.
Blood leaving my
I
head,
really
going other
think-
places in
I
my
really
body.
think that the
Tomei.
end credit scene should have had something to do with Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is the next movie. And for God's sake, we have had one
But-
half mention.
Yeah, I
But
see
Is
that.
it,
But
wait,
with
is Thor the next movie?
no,
No.
Doctor
Doctor
Strange
Strange is
is
the next movie.
Yeah, 'cause it's out
what is
this
it?
year.
October, November
Yeah.
this year.
Yes.
Ragnarok's
But-
next year. Yeah.
But with,
Right.
with Spider-Man so shoehorned into it, it does make sense to use at least one of the end credit scenes to flush out a little bit further, even though that flushing out wasn't really anything
It
flushed
didn't,
out.
in
yeah.
that text that was like Spider-Man in that white Arial font, I'm like, are you freaking serious?
Spider-Man will return. And it's like, oh,
Dun,
no
dun,
shit,
dun.
Spider-Man's going to return. We
Yeah.
already know that.
Anyone watching these movies already knows that Marvel said we're making a Spider-Man film, which is why we bumped Inhumans. But
The fact that there hasn't been a real mention of the Doctor Strange in the main Marvel movies, except for the one mention in
Winter
Captain America:
Soldier.
Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
where they just said his name.
did they?
Yes,
Yeah,
he was on a list
Sitwell.
of Sitwell. He had a
When he-
list of targets.
When he's being interrogated by Cap, Falcon, and Black Widow.
So this is why they couldn't. I think this is why they couldn't segue into it, is because Doctor Strange is going to be in timeline and continuity.
hmm
This one has to happen before Winter Soldier.
Doctor Strange does.
Yes.
I
If
see.
he's on that
I
list-
see what you mean.
well,
But the list was made about threats in the present and in the future, because Solo's algorithm determined who was a threat in the future by what their actions are.
right, but they would have to have had actions in order to. Be
So they
part of
have
that
to already
algorithm.
have a pulse, and the guy wasn't named Doctor Strange. So I think the reason why they couldn't do that is for continuity's sake, the fact that he's going to take place
I mean, I
Sometime
I
after Iron
completely
Man?
hope so, because that would mean that a more seasoned, more experienced Doctor Strange would be joining us for the Infinity Wars.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
And that is what would be needed against
I'd be
Thanos.
fine if they just completely went back. And I couldn't tell by the preview, which was awesome, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when they went into the whole Inception thing, where the
Yeah.
whole city, and I'm
Like-
that's
like
from
it's
the
like-
comic book.
It's like a four-way split
Yeah.
and falling through the realities that
Yeah.
are split within our realities.
And Benedict Cumberbatch is so dreamy.
Oh, man.
Give me a little Sherlock any day.
Oh my god.
Oh, so good.
His name is Cumberbatch, not Cucumberbatch.
Yeah, right. There's a Benedict Cumberbatch name generator online. If you haven't seen it,
Seriously?
it's amazing. You'll look
All right, yeah, Dave's
any,
looking it up.
any more
to give
negative
us-
points? I think.
We-
Wayne, give me
Kim's on.
Oh, Kim's on.
One thing that I didn't like about it.
Absolutely. What
And
is
it's not
this?
even so much about that movie as it is about a prior Marvel movie.
Okay.
So in Captain America Civil War, we got Giant Man. And for those of you who don't know, that's when Ant-Man, instead of shrinking himself, makes himself much, much, much larger. Which is cool. Don't get me wrong, that's very cool. But in the Ant-Man movie, he shrinks himself so small. But they don't quite get him to the microverse, which exists within the Marvel universe. So it annoys me that they didn't do the micro universe Ant-Man, but they did Giant Man.
Wow.
So that's like only kind of like, the Giant Man, that's cool, but they didn't do it the other way as far as they should have.
Where like he becomes like Galactus big kind of thing, or
Well, no, shrinking.
oh, okay.
Where he shrinks down in the microverse again, which
He almost got there in Ant-Man. Almost got there.
no, he got into it and he was able
No.
to force himself back out.
But once you get down there far enough, it's like
I mean, it could be
there's people running around.
but it could be
and stuff.
assumed. And here's the thing:
Yeah.
they can make
Okay,
a
yeah.
sequel out of that.
Yeah, I'm
They can
hoping-
go
I'm
Ant-Man
hoping
and the micro.
Well, Ant-Man and Wasp
get the
is coming out.
Micronauts,
Yeah.
And-
that'd be cool.
But the Micronauts is so like, again, like a small percentage of our listeners and readers out there are even going to know about this.
Yeah, but they didn't know about Guardians of the Galaxy, and the movie was amazing.
Absolutely.
So,
You
there's
didn't need.
Micronauts.
You didn't need to. I don't know. I think then we start getting to like the weird, wacky side of Marvel. That Marvel, as far as I'm
80s
concerned,
Marvel.
yeah, Marvel's like I just want.
I
I
love
guess own
80s
this.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was mine.
So
Giant Man was cool, but
I took a look at the Benedict Cumberbatch name generator, and I had to go through a few of them because
yeah, they're filthy, right?
holy Lord, this one Buckmeister Tootlesnoot.
Yes.
So from now on, you can call me Buckmeister Tootlesnoot. Actually, please don't call me that.
what did you say, Mr. Toodle Snoot?
Chris, what do you got for us?
Negative. Was this a negative? It was just weird. I don't know. I'm always like, I can watch these and go, that's totally plausible. Like, I should be on Marvel's PR. Because I'd be like, no, this is why it's totally cool. Because I always play devil's advocate when someone says something negative about something. I'm like, well, have you thought about it this way? Hot Aunt May. Like, let's talk about this here. I love Marissa Tomei. I love Marissa Tomei. I don't care how much older
Everybody
she
loves
is than me.
Marissa
You're
Tomei.
right. And when she shows us Aunt May, I'm like, what the?
But they were so self-aware about it. Because
Right.
Tony Stark's in there, like, making fun of the hot ad.
Yeah.
Thing, like, what's up with your unusually hot ad?
Yeah. Okay. This
it-
isn't how it is in the comic.
It was a very, very nod to the audience moment, a fourth wall moment
Right.
that Marvel rarely does in its own movies.
No, I agree. I didn't exactly have a problem with Hot Aunt May, but I also wasn't like it didn't feel like Aunt May. Marissa Tomei did a fantastic job in the movie, but I don't feel like she was playing Aunt May.
She's not like the motherly, elderly, sweet type that we associate with her.
Correct.
Um,
Did a
Yeah,
fantastic
she
job.
really didn't seem like that. That was one thing that, when I saw that and heard about it, and just thinking back to the Sam Raimi movies, Aunt May and Jay Jonah both were like the most perfect casting in those movies
Jay Jonah
that you could
amazing.
ever do. And then ever since then, Aunt May's just been getting younger and younger and younger, and it's trying to like appeal to. That's true. That's something that I really don't like. But as far as negativity of the movie Civil War, myself, I found that there really wasn't much of a wager once it was all said and done. I mean, yeah, the team was split up, but there wasn't any major changes within the Marvel Universe that happened.
So it's actually one of the biggest complaints I've been reading is that it didn't have a big enough impact on the greater Marvel Universe.
Yeah, I think the problem was that, and my original beef when I first saw this coming out, I'm like, that's cool, but Marvel doesn't have the rights to do Mutants and X-Men. We know why the Civil War was a big thing was registration of people who were dubbed superheroes, and you had
incredibly affects the mutants.
Yeah, and so the mutants had the most, and there's only 2 mutants represented. Well, one. But she's not even a mutant. She's not even really a mutant.
Scarlet Witch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is that you can't, it's like, how do you represent them when you have one, because you don't have the rights yet?
Right.
So for a little bit of background on this, in the main Marvel comics, mutants were, there was something called the Mutant Registration Act, which was a pre-runner to the Superhuman Registration Act, which
Thank you,
in
Senator
the movies became the Sokovia Accords.
Right.
The Mutant Registration Act forced mutants to register, and there was extinction and murder and all sorts of craziness.
Another thing real quick, General Ross never mentions Harlem when he's talking about all the disasters that the Avengers have caused, because that was his bad with the Hulk and Abomination.
Also,
and he never brought it up at all.
Also didn't mention, Ninja Army destroying Hell's Kitchen. Also didn't mention...
all right, the MCU needs to address the fact that its TV line has a very big following, and they need to start meshing that up together.
So I feel like the TV line always mentions the movies,
absolutely,
but not vice versa.
The TV line just is begging for it, and all of us fans out here want it.
I wrote it down somewhere. What is her name again?
Chloe Bennett.
So Chloe Bennett, right? She
stars as Sky or Daisy anymore. Quake on ABC Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So with your whole schism thing of that not affecting enough of the Marvel Universe, say they used the end credit scene instead of doing a little more homage to Spider-Man and their stupid little graphic of Spider-Man's coming back. What if there'd been a bunch of finger pointing and bickering between other various superheroes? If they just panned through a whole bunch of people going, no, that, yeah, no, it's good, no, it's bad. Just characters from all over the Marvel universe,
maybe
all
interviews or something.
Just seeing that little bit of people in their own little private lives, not getting along with their friends, and
seeing a further disruption within the world.
They could have done that.
Because obviously, they could have killed Captain America. By the way,
sure.
We have the introduction of all the gems. And
Not
it would be, but we know they're going to be there, is what I mean. And so there's every chance to bring him back through the power of these gems. And they could have just totally dropped bombs on everybody that knew nothing about Civil War and killed off Cap.
I agree that Captain America should have died at the end of Civil War. Not because that's what the comics did, but because I think it would have been an amazing...
cap to the finale.
Right.
So I want to say this is Civil War ends phase 2 for the Marvel.
It's the beginning of phase 3. Yeah. End of phase 2 was Ant-Man.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of disagree that it didn't have a big enough ripple effect in the rest of the Marvel universe. Rest of the movies. I think that coming up in the Black Panther and in the next Avengers and all of that, I think we're going to see some huge changes because of the events of Civil War. There's now 2 Avengers teams. One is working covertly. That's huge.
They could easily do Secret Avengers now at this point with Captain America breaking them all out of the raft.
Half of them, the Secret Avengers now are wanted felons, international felons, and they're all prison escapees.
And I just on Wikipedia, the god of all things that bees on the internet. It's on the internet. It's true.
That's true.
However, so I think this is like loosely tied to the new Civil War. Like everyone's like, why is Civil War II being made into a comic book? And if you read the synopsis on Civil War, I'm not going to go over it because it's not too long. It's like 2 paragraphs, but it ties closer. So the reason why is that Terrigen Mist released. A Inhuman comes out named Ulysses, and he has premonition about the future. And so Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, is squaring off against Tony about what to do about this information. And they're having a falling out. And he has a premonition that Thanos is coming. My guess is ties in with S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because they've touched on the Inhuman stuff. I think Marvel feels that's all the Inhuman stuff you're going to get because we've dropped the movie now. And
not fully dropped. It's just been rescheduled.
They did not say that they're dropping it. That is true. They dropped it from 2019. Because of Spider-Man and adding, the Inhumans might be something that it's better to have their story fleshed out on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and in other places because
you get to talk about the royal family.
That's it right there. I really thought they were going to bring them in a few times, and they just never did.
I mean, it's like, how do you take a TV show budget and do Medusa? You don't.
Well, they did Hive, and the character was nothing like the comic character that I can recall anyway. But he very much had these tentacles coming off of his head, CGI, all sorts of stuff, and it looked fairly good.
No, Medusa's hair.
I know. Yes, you're right.
I love Medusa.
Like Merida from Brave, but like 80,000 times more gorgeous.
And that hair just like.
The hair, more gorgeous.
So if you guys want to get more into the whole how the Marvel Universe in the movies is not as connected as it should be, we will put an article in the description of this that will lead you to the interview with Chloe Bennett about how she feels that it's not as connected as it should be. And that is something we can talk about next time, maybe.
Yeah.
But before, speaking of women in movies and TV shows, Black Widow, it has been announced. It was the Daily.com talks about how Marvel has committed to a Black Widow movie, but there's nothing that's been like official yet. There's no dates. There's nothing. So is this going to be something that may come up in maybe part 4 or?
Is it going to be a phase 4? Is it going to be a phase 3?
Marvel hasn't announced anything past phase 3 though.
They haven't.
No, they haven't. With Infinity Wars, which they are now saying is no longer titled 1 and 2, that they're going to be titled differently, and there will be movies between them. No back-to-back release. Supposedly it's all up in mystery, and it'll make more sense when it comes out.
So as we were like leading into this, my thought, and I don't have much thoughts. I think it's to get Scarlett Johansson more screen time, because every time she's like ready for war, the zipper just moves down just a little bit further.
Your zipper or her zipper?
Little column A, little column B.
Yeah, well, hey,
I love me some Scarlett Johansson. Don't get me wrong, but it's like because of her treatment in Age of Ultron, I feel like this is their answer to, we'll just go ahead and get another strong female character out there. I think this is wrong. I think they can do a better job.
There's probably better female characters that could be.
Captain Marvel's coming.
Yeah,
Captain Marvel is coming.
And you guys know who they're really pushing to get, like Carol Danvers.
No.
Ronda Rousey.
Really?
She a
From
lot
what I
of
heard,
fans.
she was on board, right?
A lot of
She
fans.
wants it.
She's saying, yeah, if they offer me the position, great. But I think it's because a lot of fans are like, oh my god, she totally kicks ass in the ring.
Mhm.
She could play Carol Danvers
Um,
as long as she can act.
That's the thing right there.
Her interviews are fine, but I don't know. I mean, like I like to see her fight, but she's kind of a nerd.
If she can be coached to fight, I'm sure she can be coached to act.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
Marvel movie. You don't have to be like Oscar winner worthy. It helps. I want it to be.
But a lot of them are.
Well, I guess Batista plays Drax, and he did it.
Oh man, Batista was great.
he took several acting classes specifically for this role because he didn't want to screw it up.
He took it seriously,
Yeah.
which is good.
Well, I mean, he knew if he didn't, then I don't care how muscly he is, a million fat nerds are going to take him down.
Yeah, and what's great is like you have someone like that who plays a good role, and then you have Vin Diesel, and he only has to say one freaking line.
And I'm
I
happy
am
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2 lines.
yeah, we are Groot.
We are Groot. Was his other line.
And then you know who they want to play? Everyone said
Oh
He
yeah,
was,
Black Bolt.
Black.
Right.
Even better, he
And
doesn't
I'm okay
have to
with
say
that.
a damn thing.
See,
Yeah,
that's the
he
thing
just
about.
stands there and looks at you.
I don't like Vin Diesel. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I don't like Vin Diesel as an actor. I think that he's
Just like your
Yeah, man. His best movie was Knockaround, guys.
Yeah.
Pitch Black.
Oh
See,
yeah,
yeah.
Pitch
I'm
Black.
gonna say
was
Pitch
good.
Black better than any of the Riddick
Riddick.
stuff because I didn't see the last one. And
The last one
I was
was
just
great.
telling the wife like I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna get that, and we're gonna go see that.
Okay, imagine Pitch Black with an R rating.
Pitch Black
So,
doesn't need an R rating.
pitch black with boobs.
Pitch Black with boobs.
Okay.
But the alien creatures that kill
Yeah.
everyone has boobs,
Alien
right?
boobs. Pitch black with alien boobs. So that's how we're talking about that. So anyway, I don't like him as an actor. The fact that he had the 2 lines was perfect. The fact that he is going to be playing a character where he doesn't have to talk.
He's mute.
is
You're just like sign me up.
You're like, I am happy about that because I want him to be a part of this because he is a huge nerd. Like I don't like him as an actor, but as a nerd and as a person, I'm sure he's a wonderful person.
Have you seen him do the D&D stuff?
I saw the D&D stuff.
Great.
I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
I love him as a nerd. I want him to be a part of the whole thing where he doesn't have to talk or has just the 2 lines.
Okay.
It makes me happy.
The worst part is that you know that the only line that he says is Black Bolt is going to come right before the victory at the end of the movie.
Where he
Because he's
says-
just going to, I'm just pissed. And everything is just gone.
right.
And you don't even know what he's going to say.
I feel like there's a better person for that role
He's
who can
won a
like
race and everybody's
silent movie act, really show like the emotions of Black Bolt. And I don't
wear
think
a mask the whole time, so who cares?
Maybe.
They'll CGI
Maybe.
all of his
whatever.
emotion.
Black Bolt doesn't always wear a mask.
MCU might do something weird. Now, who would you all want to play Max? What is his name? His crazy brother, Mad Max or Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. You know his brother.
Maximilian the Mad or something like that. Yeah. Hell, I don't care. That's
Just throwing it
a good
out there.
question. Something that maybe we'll look into for next time. Yeah.
Yeah. Write
it
down
is-
notes. Inhumans.
Your
Inhumans.
notey notes.
Inhumans.
Who do we want to play? All right, so Black Widow, we're all pretty excited about that. I mean, as far as nerd, okay, so apparently you two aren't that excited about it. I am. Nerddom in general is excited about it.
Okay, that's fair.
Is that what
But I
they're
think
calling
there's
it these
so many
days?
other characters.
Exactly.
Well, I want to see. I want personally. I want to see a Black Widow Hawkeye movie. In the first Avengers, they're fighting together, and she's like, "This reminds me of
Whatever.
like, country,
Belarus or
Belarus
something.
or whatever," and he's like, "You and I remember that quite differently." That's a movie right there. I want to see.
I think that's more of a Netflix series.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
or just gloss over it. We already got the show.
Just gloss
I don't
over it.
care.
I want to see what happens.
Do an animated feature and have them voice it. Jeremy
I'm fine
Renner
with
and
them
Scarlett.
as the characters in the movies, as the actor and actress playing them. Great. Let's move on. I'm tired of seeing the pseudo Bourne. Jason Bourne playing Hawkeye again, and Scarlett Johansson, whose costume seems to get skimpier.
Oh wait, Jeremy Renner was in a Bourne movie, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's why you said
when he was interviewed, he was asked which character would win in a fight, his character from the Bourne movie or
Hawkeye
or Jason Bourne, and he said Hawkeye.
Yeah. And then I'm like, no, Matt Damon. Debate over
Matt Damon.
All right, so even though we can't agree to be excited about Black Widow, there is one thing that
he was played by Matt Damon.
Black Widow, played by Matt Damon. Make it happen, Marvel.
I would watch Matt Damon in a red wig
all day long.
Zipper half down. Let's do this.
Yeah. I mean, down to
I want plenty of ass shots.
Down to the part where you get that
right through his
hair, hair trail in your navel and the top of your wing line. Right. Zipper down to there. I'm talking
Did you say wing line?
I'm talking like Van Halen dirty, just well low, just buzz right there.
All right, so Black Widow needs to change. We decided that.
Wayne's just right. He's like, nope.
So, nerddom in general is happy about this Black Widow movie. What nerddom in general doesn't seem to be happy about is the new Ghostbusters movie. The new Ghostbusters trailer is the most disliked trailer of all time on YouTube, and is in fact the fifth, well, at least as the time of the article, the fifth most disliked trailer or video of all time on Facebook.
Do they have a statistics of likes and dislikes?
They do, and we're gonna. I'm gonna link the article.
You said fifth most.
Fifth most.
So there's 4 other.
Fifth
So they got
most video.
Nickelback and members of Congress giving.
Look at this
The number one dislike video is a Justin Bieber baby. Justin Bieber's baby has a whopping 6 million thumb down votes, but that's on 1.36 billion views.
Sure.
This is coming from
1.63 what?
Billion views.
1.63 billion views.
I don't know.
They don't apparently have the list. They have the worst and where this places.
I mean, I can find the list.
There's got to be a list.
Well, here's what we'll do. I will find the list.
Yeah, let's discuss.
I will find the list.
That sounds amazing.
And then we will watch all the videos and discuss them.
But at one point in time, but here's the thing: is that at one point in time, the most watched video in YouTube history was also Oppa Gangnam Style.
What's wrong with that?
Everything is wrong with.
Are you really gonna bag on my people?
No, just one of them.
I will shank you, white boy.
Size Gangnam Style is number 4 overall of the most disliked. It has 1.5 million thumb downs on 2.5 billion views.
Yeah.
For a ratio of 1,666 to 1.
Yeah, suck it, white people who aren't as talented as Psy. Really? Bunch of 12-year-old kids in their mom's basement.
Made up the dance, you're right.
Freaking Koreans beating me in popularity contest.
I liked it for the first 2 times I saw it.
Sure, it's over.
And then after that, I just wanted to put a bullet in my head every time I heard it.
You know what? All I have to say to that is Oppa Gangnam Style.
Hey, sexy lady. Okay, so apparently some of the comments on the Ghostbusters video got pretty damn misogynistic, saying things like, I think it was
misogyny rules and things like that.
Ghostbusters, the Fat Dyke edition.
Whoa.
Yeah. When are people going to learn that women aren't funny? Was another one.
That comment's kind of funny. It's terrible. I will say it's terrible.
Okay, I will tell you this: there is a show on Netflix.
Why'd you have to read the
That
funny,
is
terrible
right.
ones?
Because those are the ones that were quoted. There's a
They
show
were funny.
called Women Aren't Funny on Netflix. It is just women comedian being the funniest I've seen in a long time. It is amazing. You should see it. My favorite female comedians, in fact, my favorite comedians are like Maria Bamford and Kathleen Mulligan. Oh my God, they're the funniest people I've ever seen. Well, of course, my favorite of all time is still Eddie Izzard, but he's,
He plays for both. Yeah.
I mean-
yeah.
So, I mean, to be fair, like my top three.
Sure. All right.
He does have breast envy. So, my question to you guys is, what do you think? Is it misogyny that's really causing people to hate the Ghostbusters trailer, or is it just a bad trailer?
I say go around the table because I have a lot to say, so maybe I should go last.
Okay. Then I'll start. I think that it's a combination of both. Honestly, I do think that we live in a male-dominated, misogynistic society. Just look at YouTube or look at freaking Facebook. Occasionally, you'll see posts constantly that are
Look at the Republican Party
I mean,
candidate.
didn't want to get into politics, but
Told you.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he's about as misogynistic as you could get.
Yeah.
So yes, I do think that's part of it. I also think it's just a bad trailer. I've watched the trailer 4 times now, just so that I can, know for myself how I feel about it. I don't find a funny joke in the entire thing. I'm not a fan of Melissa McCarthy. She's not funny in what she does. She could be funny if she was doing something that's not her typecast.
Yeah, she has a
role.
shtick. Yeah.
If she did something different, I might feel differently. As it is, I don't like her. I actually know people who have met her, say that she's a sweetheart in person, a wonderful person. As far as an actor goes, I put her up there with, yeah, pretty close. That's my take on it. So,
Kim, you said you haven't seen the trailer, so.
I've seen it once or twice.
Oh.
It didn't leave a lot of impression, unfortunately. But it is what it is. As far as, I don't know, whether it's a problem with the movie or a problem with the trailer or a problem with misogyny, people on the internet like to bitch. People on the internet like to say very flamboyant, very egregious, very hateful statements while they're hiding behind their computer in pseudo-anonymity.
Oh, that veil is so beautiful, the veil of
I
anonymity.
mean, they just, they'll say anything to get a rise out of other people. I don't know. As far as I remember, there were interviews with some of the original cast, Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray, and they didn't have a problem with it.
I think Bill Murray even makes a cameo in this.
See, there you go.
From what I hear, yeah.
So, who cares? Who cares? A lot of people are, really, I think the big problem with it has nothing to do with sexism. It has nothing to do with it being a bad trailer. People are tired of seeing remakes of movies that were perfectly fine in the first place. Come up with something new, Hollywood. Come up with something freaking new.
I cannot agree with you more there. I am adamantly against remakes in the first place. Judge Dredd, even though there are many who claim it's a better movie, I didn't like it.
Wow, that's a whole new topic that we're not going into.
Not seen it.
I'm really gonna smash this bottle up against your brother's head.
I'm a big Carl Urban fan, so would you like
I love
another
Carl
bottle?
Urban. I think he did an amazing job, but I didn't like the movie. We can talk about that next time.
Yeah.
Also,
There won't be a next time, Dave.
The greatest of Carl Urban, Ghost Ship. Such a good movie.
Go to Mars.
You go
Total
to Mars,
Total
bastard.
Recall. It was the remake of Total Recall. No.
It was that was unnecessary.
Remake
Yeah.
of RoboCop. Coming up,
That was incredible.
That was awful.
Coming
Coming up, we have
Spider-Man Origin Story 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
coming up. We have the remake.
Dave likes no remakes.
Yeah,
We've got
most of us don't want to see remakes. Most of us don't.
See?
Huh? Wait, is
Okay.
Dave's your older brother or younger brother?
Older.
Older? That makes sense. We're the younger people here. It doesn't like.
And that means you have no taste.
No, it means old people are grumpy and set in their ways.
Yeah.
It means, oh, why would they redo the
It
classic?
was better in my
It
day.
was so much better when I had to like walk barefoot to school. Both ways, 30
We're talking
30
about
30
miles.
miles uphill.
We're
Uphill,
talking
the
about doing a
snow.
remake of Big Trouble in Little China
Why?
with
Why would anybody
freaking
do
The
that?
Rock.
Why?
I agree. Why? It doesn't make any sense.
Because you can never defeat me, Egg Shen.
That right there is why it is not necessary to have a remake. Okay, so
I will agree with you on some. But it's that whole adage
Hell
of
of the
nothing
upside
new
down
under the
sinners.
sun.
But
No.
here's the thing. Leave the classic movie alone. In the Ghostbusters and in those shows, they talked about franchising.
Hmm?
Don't remake the movie.
They-
Tell it as the story of one of the
They-
franchises in another
That would be
They are actually.
solved.
Well, here's the thing. Not knowing the full script, from my understanding, after the outcry and the confusion of what, we don't know if the movie is like full on remake or if it's penned as a continuation. My
Right.
understanding, I thought I heard it's going to be a continuation.
That's my
from my understanding,
interpretation
it's straight up
from
remake.
well, from my interpretation of one of the previews, it actually shows them going into the firehouse and finding the containment units and the proton packs, and then Kristen Wiig, the theoretical physicist who is my former future ex-wife, restraining order pending. She
It's now coming when this
Oh,
goes live.
shit.
Yeah.
This is like your fifth one now.
yeah, 5th or 6th. Felicia
So it's a
Day.
continuation.
But yeah, from what I gathered, it was a continuation. Like Kristen Wiig, it showed her trying to like figure out what Egon had done to make these proton packs and making them better and stuff.
I'm so sad.
And that they just
that.
found the firehouse or
All
something.
you fat nerds are saying stupid bullshit on the internet.
Yeah.
You don't want to see the movie. Don't see the movie.
And if it's not a if it's not a remake and a continuation, then yeah.
I would be more willing to see it if it's a continuation than if it's a straight up.
And that's what it sounded like. So even. I'm not saying you should do this, but if you don't want to give money to it because you're so opposed, you know you're going to download it for free on a torrent and watch it anyway.
Yeah.
You know you're going to. And you're not going to want to tell anyone. It's going to be like the dirty little secret, like you really like Footloose and Dirty Dancing.
Who doesn't like Footloose and Dirty Dancing?
I love me some Swayze.
Oh God!
Get over it.
Well, so that kind of like my whole thing is, and it's funny because like we're now, I think I'm more aware of it now that I have a daughter. She's 4. She's gonna start getting into this world, or absolutely hate it and call me a nerd every day of my life. Like she'll be that girl in school that picked on me, but I'll be her dad and I'll be home, and my wife will laugh at me. But I don't want her to grow up thinking I don't get to be a nerd. I don't get to do this. This plays into all of it.
Absolutely. These guys, Dan Aykroyd, give me some more names here. They all had their 30 years of fame as the Ghostbusters. And what's wrong with girls having heroes now?
Yeah, and it's this whole thing of like.
Yeah, well, no, that's to all these misogynist people, if you can call them that.
Some things that kind of opened my eyes within the last 5 years, not just owning the store, but seeing like various documentaries, things at various conventions that I've been to, talking to the community, kind of opened my eye in that, like, it's funny because as nerds, we were the most picked on crowd. Like when I was a kid, it sucked to be a nerd.
Right.
And for a lot of people, but that's changed. Like nerds, it's hip to be nerd.
Right.
You know, you got jocks who are nerds, you got jocks who are playing Magic, you got all kinds of people from all walks of life playing video games, watching and reading comic book related materials. And here we are as nerds who were picked on and looked down upon. And we know how that feels. So when we turn the other foot and make fun of women who are trying to get into this, who are in the industry, trying to play these games and do all this, and we're like, if you don't have boobs and don't show skin on like Twitch and stuff, like what good are you? Like,
or if you do, you're just doing it.
You're a whore and like you're just trying to make money. Frankly, it's like really we need to stop.
Yeah.
We as a community knows how it is to be picked on,
right?
And you're willing to be an internet troll and just hash out all your hate online. It's like think about how you were shit on. You know, pardon my French. You were shit on.
That'd be mad.
Yeah. And don't go, you know what? I should be welcoming because I wasn't welcome.
Right.
So knock it off. You know, and when we put this up, we're probably going to get a bunch of like trolls. And bring it because frankly, if you can't say it to my face, you have nothing to say at all. And I really don't care what you think.
And again, that email address is the nerdaccord@gmail.com. That's NERDACCORD@gmail.com.
And while you're at it, you might as well hit all the other guys that have said this because I'm just echoing what I've heard.
Yeah.
You might as well hit all of them up with your hate because I'm going to read it, I'm going to laugh, and I'm going to throw it in the trash bin because I don't care. So have at it, but really, we're all
keyboard warriors of the world unite.
Male,
not
female,
for hate.
Black, white, Asian, Mexican. I don't care. We're all have the same shared interests. Let's just talk about our interests and stop all that.
So on that kumbaya moment,
didn't they sum this up in the Breakfast Club? Ali Sheedy's character really summed that whole like.
Absolutely.
Thing
so if you have, you're a slut. If you haven't, you're a prude. It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
All right, so that is pretty much our time. Once again, I want to thank you all for joining in. We will be doing this again soon. Hopefully, you will join us again.
Weekly, bi-weekly?
I'm thinking bi-weekly right now.
Okay.
Just there for reasons.
Reasons.
We can talk about that after the show. But for now, for myself and for the rest of the Accord, Wayne, Chris, and Kim, I want to say thank you. And if you're in the Springfield area, come on down to Castle of Games. Can you get that address one more time?
660 Main Street, Suite B. We're right next to Bright Oaks.
Right next to Bright Oaks. And if you come in and say you listen to the show, you'll get a free high five.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I will. Yep. If I'm here, I will give you a second high five.
Yeah.
I probably might not be, but
and if you can find Dopinder as your taxi driver, you can get a free ride for a high five.
2 high fives.
2 high fives, because Dopinder and Gita is still a better love story than Twilight.
And on that note, good night.